Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Lazy Couch Podcast. This is a weekly podcast covering the latest technology, the internet, movies, and much more. My name is Kelvin Lee. I'm with my co-host Geoff Kim, and we're recording on Tuesday, 3rd of November in Sydney, Australia. How are you, Jeff?
I'm very good. There's lots going on right now.
I know, we're trying lots of new things today.
Yes, we're live on YouTube or live on Hangouts on Air.
Yeah.
What else? We're using GarageBand for the first time.
Yeah.
So lots of experimentation, but hopefully the end product is okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's the whole point of this, right? We're just trying new things and trying to reach different people.
Yes.
So you went shopping on the weekend.
I went shopping online, yes. So I ordered a Nexus 6P, like I mentioned last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty seamless experience, I guess.
Yeah.
The only thing is my bank actually denied or declined the purchase because it worked out that I was online and making that purchase at 4 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday morning or something like that.
So it seemed a bit dodgy.
Yes, and I didn't realize until this morning they sent me a text saying, hey, something dodgy happened. And I called up and was like, what the hell is this? And they explained, it just wasn't in the same profile, so we declined it automatically, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like someone watching over you.
That's right, yeah. So I was just thinking, with it, should I get some accessories? There are a few things going around, like MKBHD's the skin for his phones. He's got his own range of skins.
Yes, from I think it was D-Stone.
Yeah, that's it.
D-Stone.
Yeah.
So you get 3.
D-brand.
Sorry. You get 3 for, the red, the carbon.
$20,
and go for it. Definitely.
I ended up getting the white one just because that one was available straight away.
Right.
So that's what got me sort of thinking, do I really want white? Do I want to cover it up with the skin?
So you got the 64 gigabyte?
I did, yes.
Okay. Does it go up all the way to 128?
It does. That was so they're just like $100 either way.
Step ups. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. No, that was really good. My weekend was nowhere near as interesting. Ended up painting again. I mean, considering I have a 2-bedroom apartment, it's taking me roughly half a year to finish the job. So I have to keep chipping away at it.
Yep.
Yeah. But shall we get into follow-up?
Yes, follow-up. I've got a couple of cool things. And I have to set this up. So I'll just bring up the clip. So last week we talked about PewDiePie being the most highly paid YouTube star on the planet. And we just were talking about like what is it about him, right? So,
I just don't get it.
Yeah, we don't really get it. So the Business Insider, I think it was, they profiled PewDiePie because he was having a book signing in New York during the week.
Wait, he's got a book?
He's got a book. He's got a movie. He's got everything. And apparently the queue in New York was just going around the block several times over, and all these kids were lining up. So they thought they'll ask them what is it about them. So here we go.
It's basically him just playing a bunch of video games, screaming through a microphone.
The screaming always gets me.
How's it going, bros? My name's PewDiePie.
Me and my friend actually watch him together, and we discovered his videos together, and then since that day we fell in love with him.
You feel like you're a part of it with him, watching him play the game, how he reacts.
He's not a regular YouTuber.
He's just himself,
and he doesn't pretend to be something. He's real.
It's his personality, just his comedy in general. It just makes me laugh and makes me so happy.
Oh, they like him because he's real.
But what? He just yells at them. I mean, I'm quite sure they get yelled. Yeah. The kids get yelled at by their parents, their teachers, and now PewDiePie's yelling at them.
Yeah, actually, that doesn't actually explain it, does it?
Yeah. Well, it does. I think he relates to them on that level. He just says what he thinks and yells when he wants to. So just like everyday life, I guess.
He just kind of got lucky because he's one of the first ones to do it. And like I said, he's got a brand, Yeah. The other thing was YouTube Red we talked about last week.
Yes.
So he's a big contributor to that. He wrote a Tumblr post because, like I said, he's everywhere. He's got a book. He's got his YouTube channels and all these things. He's also got a Tumblr. It's pewd.tumblr.com, in case you're wondering. He kind of explained why he thinks that YouTube Red exists. So let's just cover that. So apparently YouTube doesn't make any money by themselves. So they're a platform for content creators to get ad revenue, but just because of the scale of the infrastructure needed, they apparently cost $3.7 billion a year for 1 billion users, and that's growing, I suppose. So they thought that ad blocking is a big issue for them,
Okay.
So there is, I didn't realize, but there is ad blocking or YouTube ad blocking software out there that you can use. And so PewDiePie, he sent out a survey to his followers, his 40 million subscribers.
40 million.
He's up to 40 million. And apparently 40% of that said that they use ad blocking.
So
that's like quite a big chunk of his audience.
Statistically significant, I would say.
Yeah. So this is purely like this is through PewDiePie. So kind of by proxy, they're admitting that this is just purely for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I can't remember a time where an ad came up and I actually clicked on it to find out more. I just wanted to watch the video. So it's more of a YouTube advertising issue. They're going to find different ways to reach out to subscribers. So yeah, I think overall it'll be good for.
So it's not the 40% that already have ad blocking will sign up for YouTube Red because they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have to.
So it's the rest of the non, I don't know, people that don't know about it.
This is definitely phase 1 out of 100.
Yeah.
I think now I think all content will be available to everyone, but soon they'll do things like, hey, if you want to watch HD or 4K, you have to sign up for YouTube Red. It's coming. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. And related topic, I suppose, but Apple TV is now available. I didn't get one. Did you get one?
No, I didn't get one.
Yeah, so didn't really talk to anyone that had one themselves, but the reviews have been coming in through all the websites and other podcasts. Generally okay, I think.
Yeah.
I was just playing with the Apple TV just now, the previous generation one. I hadn't been using Apple TV just because I've been on Xbox and Chromecast, exactly. Yeah. So it's actually quite a good experience, and I think the polish that they've put in, like it's the white background and the amazing screensaver. Apparently, that's some of the features.
So what is the benefit of getting the Apple TV over the Chromecast?
The benefit would be maybe apps like built into the. It's more like a set-top box, I suppose, where Chromecast is purely downloading something. You have to tell it to download.
Yeah. So this is the first Apple TV with an app store, like a proper app store that you can dev for without apps just coming from apple.com. So this could be huge for them. I think the initial pricing is going to be a stumbling block.
Yep.
It's going for what, $200 USD for the basic model?
Yeah.
And that's steep considering that the Chromecast
is $280 over here, I think.
And the Chromecast is $50. So the first generation of anything is going to be pretty bad. So this is the first generation of Apple TV with an app store built in. I think the apps will make a huge difference. So I can't wait to see what people create for the platform.
Yeah, so the Twit guys were saying today that they already have 3 apps in the App Store on Apple TV. So it's just the beginning.
Villager News.
All right, so the lead news item, I've got one. I don't know if you heard about this, but Optus,
I did.
Yeah, Optus snatched the English Premier League rights from Fox Sports this week.
So this is huge. When Netflix first came to the country, the one thing we said was the one advantage that Foxtel has, the cable company Foxtel has above everyone else is live sports. This is a huge chunk of live sports that's going to go missing from Fox Sports. That's
right. So we're just looking at a Sydney Morning Herald article. Actually picked this up from Apple, the iPhone news app anyway. That's another thing because I wouldn't normally go into SMH, but it came up through that feed. It is a massive risk for Foxtel and Fox Sports in general, I think, because this is one of their lead items. Apart from the Premier League, what have they got really? They've got F1 racing, NRL and AFL, but there's talks that there are other sort of online deals through Telstra and things like that. Even TPG is now like a player in this.
So there's still a chance that Optus could relicense this back to Foxtel, because they've got the TV rights and the online rights as well. So I don't think there's nothing to stop Optus from saying, hey, you can pay us a license fee and we'll continue to funnel that back to you.
Yeah. So they haven't really announced what the platform will be. So is it just on your iOS or mobile devices, or does Optus have a channel? I don't even know.
So they have IPTV, so they have like a Fetch TV equivalent.
Okay, yeah.
But that's still not going to reach the masses like Foxtel or terrestrial TV does.
Okay.
So I've read a couple of comments and they're saying that this is just the EPL selling out again rather than thinking about the fans or in general, because it's not clear it seems like this is just a money deal. It's not clear what the fans get out of this.
So Optus paid $50 million for this deal. I can't sort of believe that Fox Sports couldn't compete with that sort of price, because 50 million is not much really.
Not much at all.
The problem with the EPL as their lead sort of sport is that it's in the middle of the night, so the ratings aren't actually that good. It is a reason for the fans to get on Foxtel or Fox Sports, because you could argue that maybe up to 30% would get on Foxtel just to get English Premier League, right? So yeah, this is a huge deal.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what Foxtel does next. Do they get other sports and try and jump on board? Do they... Because now this weakens their negotiation power with the NRL, for example, because now they only have one sport to rely on.
Yep.
I don't know what will happen to Fox.
So Optus also, in October, they made a deal with Cricket Australia. So they're going to have a deal for the rest of us, $29.99. You're going to get to see the whole cricket season this year. Mobile or tablet, Chromecast, I suppose. Actually, that's not too clear. And if you're Optus mobile paying customer, then the downloads are not counted. So this is a whole sort of net neutrality sort of angle to this as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that happening, I would think. So on to other news. The developers of games like Warcraft, Activision Blizzard, is paying up to $5.9 billion to acquire King Digital Entertainment. They are the London-based group behind everyone's favorite game, Candy Crush. This is the biggest deal in the gaming industry since Microsoft bought Minecraft last year.
Wow.
So I'm trying to think what the angle is for Activision Blizzard, because they also have very successful online games like Hearthstone, which is a card-based game. But I'm guessing they don't have the games to reach the masses, like your moms and your dads and your sisters and your brothers. So $5.9 billion, it'll be really interesting to see what else they can do with this to actually, make it earn a lot more money to make up for this cost.
Yeah. They could possibly go into Apple TV to get sort of mobile gaming onto the masses, perhaps. It's a few things.
So the $18 per share that they paid for was below the $22.50 that King went public on. So maybe King isn't doing so well, because what was that game where you could draw stuff and someone bought that?
Draw something.
Yeah, draw something, and then it got bought for $2 billion, and that was the worst purchase known to man because everyone stopped playing that game. So this is a huge risk, I think, for Activision Blizzard. And I can't wait to see what they do with it, or what else comes out of the studio.
All right, so staying on the gaming theme, Nintendo, apparently this was not quite news early in the year, but I didn't realize they were going to build a smartphone game called Miitomo. Did you hear about this earlier? Yeah.
So I remember we spoke about Nintendo actually coming out and saying, you know what, we are working with a mobile gaming company, but it's not just to port games or anything, or it's not just to license our characters. We do want to actually make this work. So this is the first, I think, game to come out of that relationship.
Yeah, so the announcement this week was that that project has been delayed till March next year. But a little bit about the Miitomo. So that's me, as in M-I-I. So you've got your
like
me character.
Yep.
Yeah. Tomo, that must mean something in Japanese. Anyway, so it's sort of like the way they describe it. It's like partly it's a messaging service. It's kind of like a Sims-like experience where you can sort of be in this environment. So almost like Second Life as well. So you sort of walk up to strangers and start talking to them. It could end up becoming a marketplace or something like that. The really cool thing though is while you're not in the app, so while you're asleep or while you're doing something else, the character, your me, will intelligently sort of start conversations with other me's. So this is like really like her,
Yeah.
So they're using AI to power that sort of social experiment.
So it's not really a game.
It's an app.
So,
it's partly a game, I suppose.
So basically, when I'm not online, my me is going out into this space and making friends with other me.
It is, yeah.
Creepy.
The other angle to this is that the company called Dina, I think we mentioned ages ago in that article you talked about earlier. Yeah, they're the ones that are actually making these apps. So, in other app news, Sunrise, which is probably my favorite calendar app and the one that I use every day. We knew that Microsoft bought them, and they were going to integrate with their Outlook platform, and that's done now. That's complete, and they've announced that they're going to shut it down. Sunrise as a separate app.
So, are they going to replace it with an Outlook version of that, where we can integrate
so
all
it's
our
integrated into Outlook, and some of that is already happening in the Outlook app because I use that as my mail client on my iPhone. But yeah, it's not totally integrated in, but some of it is so far.
I think from an ecosystem perspective, it makes so much sense to, now that I have all these people who are dumping, Google Calendar and iOS calendars to use Sunrise. If I can integrate it with Outlook, hopefully they'll also dump Apple Mail and the Gmail client to use this all-in-one type thing. So I'm also using Outlook for some of my email addresses, and it works great.
Yeah, this is going to be annoying for me because I like the single-use apps, right? So you want to find out what your next meeting is, you go into a calendar app. You don't want to go to your mail client, go to the hamburger button, select calendar, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. Maybe they will have an Outlook branded calendar app. Who knows?
And seeing as though I'm going to Android Marshmallow, maybe they'll create a widget just separate for Sunrise. Maybe I don't know. So yeah. Something else that's shutting down, Kelvin. I don't know if you're across this, but it's Grantland. Do you know about Grantland?
I don't know.
You don't know Grantland. So this is the offshoot of Bill Simmons, the ESPN guy, or formerly of ESPN. I don't know how you would describe it. It's mostly a sport sort of hub with lots of great writing. So Bill Simmons, he's sort of been in the industry for the last sort of 15, 20 years. He's got really great insight. I don't know if you've been listening to his podcast, but he just really breaks down the NBA, the history of the NBA, all the players, all the traditional sort of like things around it. It made it a lot of fun. He brought in a lot of other writers to help him sort of share that sort of story. And it sort of led to, podcasts. So it sort of became this empire.
Right.
It got into, reviewing movies and TV series and sort of going into that pop culture sort of thing, almost like our podcast. But yeah, there was a falling out between Bill Simmons and ESPN recently. And so he hasn't been around to run Grantland.
Right.
And now it's, finally shutting down.
That's really sad.
It is, yeah. So there'll be a few listeners, I'm guessing, that read Grantland. It's now, as of a couple of days ago, no longer around. So that's quite sad.
So which is why I think most podcasters have to be mindful of who's really sponsoring their show and if you fall out with them, which is why the services like Patreon, where you can get people to donate to your podcast and it's driven by the community, sometimes can be that better option.
Everything Google, everything Google, everything Google. Google rocks! Everything Google, everything Google, everything Google. You can use as your email.
So, just yesterday I was reading for news articles for the podcast, and the Wall Street Journal had this article that said that Google is going to fold the Chrome OS into Android. And then this morning, on the official Chrome blog, Google has debunked that story, saying that no such thing. So the story here, I think, stemmed from the fact that a lot of Android is now going into Chrome OS. So you can now, on Chrome OS, which powers the Chromebooks and the laptops, you can install Android apps. And they're adding to that library quite often.
Okay, so Crandroid is not happening as
Crandroid, no,
previously mooted.
No.
Okay.
Chrome Droid. So Google has come out and says, yes, we are streamlining a few things, which makes sense. I mean, you can't have two separate teams running two mega operating systems. And to them, Chrome OS was always Google's effort to bring the web and more live type apps and content to a laptop device. I think there's still a huge gap between your phone and your laptop and what it can do. So which is why it's only selecting one of a few apps to come across that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is going to take a while, I would think. It could have been just the Wall Street Journal just knee-jerking what they thought Google was going to announce.
No, they never do that, right?
They never do that. But I think mostly, if Chrome OS and Android do come closer and closer together, it's sort of like a response to Windows 10. And that
I was just going to say, I think they're just going through their Windows 8 moment right now.
Yeah.
And, Windows have kind of been able to crack that. And they needed to go through Windows 8 to get to Windows 10, right? There was no 9. But,
and I'm quite sure the engineers at Google were kicking themselves when they saw the demo where, the Microsoft devs just basically plugged in their phone into this device and it became a desktop experience.
Yep.
In my mind, I think Google always aimed for that, but couldn't pull it off for some reason. They went down the route of having 2 separate operating systems. And I think we spoke about this before, but laptops that run Android were horrible, like the Asus Transformer. So it'll be interesting to see how much closer the Chrome OS and Android get together. So hopefully it'll be just like Windows 10 at some point. But at this stage, Google is strongly putting the message out there that no, there's still going to be Chrome OS, there's still going to be Android. It's just streamlining.
Sure.
In other news, and we speak about cars almost every week now, a quick story came out on the motorreport.com.au that GM hinted that they really want to work with Google on building a car. So it kind of makes sense, and we won't go into too much of the whole, story because there is no word coming from Google. But the story did cover what is currently in the autonomous vehicle market and what's building. Who's building what to try and get to that stage where everything is being self-driven. So apparently Tesla, we know that, has updated, its Model S with autopilot features. It'll be quite crazy.
Which people are experimenting with quite dangerously at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that on YouTube or on news. Volvo also has autonomous features in the new XC90 SUV. So that's quite interesting. And other brands like Daimler, which owns Mercedes-Benz, is working on something. So GM is the only one not doing anything, and obviously they have the manufacturing and hardware capabilities.
Yeah.
So it'll be, it seems to make sense, especially when the talk of the Apple car is getting very, very warm. So it'll be interesting. But what I also didn't know was GM already has a partnership with LG at the moment to power their Bolt electric vehicle with batteries and infotainment systems.
Right.
So they already do have a partner in LG, and I'm guessing they're thinking that LG isn't as technically capable as Google, considering all the companies they bought. So it makes sense that GM dumps the LG relationship and goes with Google and, goes straight to powering of the Google Maps and who knows what is being done with, Google X program and things like that. So it makes sense, but does Google need GM? I think if Apple can build their own car without tying themselves into, in with a manufacturer, I don't see why Google needs one.
Well, Google, I guess the expertise or the history of, how to make a car, I guess that's what they get.
Yeah.
It's almost like OEM for Google.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And also because Google doesn't yet have the clout of Apple. Apple could sell anything, right? They come with ice cubes tomorrow, people will buy it. So maybe that's something Google needs to think about is they don't have that pull, and they're going to need help to really get this across the line.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.
You probably couldn't listen to that song, but I was just dancing to it. Anyway, Facebook. We have some Facebook news now. So I don't know if you saw this one, Kelvin, but during the week, Facebook are testing something in Sydney and Melbourne.
For the first time ever.
Yes. I don't know about the first time, but they're testing a thing called Local Market. So if you updated your Facebook app recently, you will see under the burger there something called Local Market. It didn't really work for me because it was either slow or there was just no information.
Yep.
But it relies on the groups that you create within Facebook. And I guess it's some sort of marketplace where you can exchange goods or specialty items like jewelry. If you go into it, you'll see all the icons there. Maybe you can show the audience. So
I'm experiencing what Geoff is experiencing right now, and it just keeps going to the spinning wheel, and I'm not getting anything. So maybe I might, if it's powered by groups, maybe I'm not following the right groups.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. So I'll just throw up the article on the screen as well because it's got some screenshots. So yeah, that's what it looks like. I guess if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can't see it, but it's the sort of grid of icons with different colors, and you can see. Oh, it's a bit hard to see. All the sort of they've even got property.
Yeah,
sort of category.
I see beauty, books, equipment, events, furniture, clothing, electronics, gaming. So yeah, I mean, I follow a few buy and sell groups, and I'm quite surprised that mine's not loading. So
if you go to the sell tab at the moment, it'll say it's not available.
Coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon.
So maybe it's just going to take some time to sort of aggregate the right information.
Yeah. I guess the interesting thing for me was that they're testing in Australia. So I've been complaining about that to all those tech companies out there. Not doing that enough, but yeah, we're a good market to test your stuff on.
So this is, and I can see why Facebook is sampling on such a small market size. When you think about all the other internet things that they've tried to copy, like check-ins, that was horrible.
Yep.
Videos is taking off for them, which is great, but it's been a bit of a hit and miss for them. So it'll be quite interesting. I think they're taking a much more conservative approach now.
Yes. And of course, related to Facebook is Instagram, and they've been testing something else too. So during Halloween, which was Saturday last over the weekend, they are testing curated content just like Snapchat and Twitter and a bunch of other companies as well. So if you, I couldn't get that to work on my phone, my Instagram app, but apparently there was a thing that sort of came down from the top, like a small little banner that asked you to look at your Halloween content. So they just took the best sort of videos and photos from Halloween, the best costumes.
Right.
And I guess the idea here is that this is event-based content that you get from Snapchat. So I don't know if you tried Snapchat lately, but like all those music festivals and
it's all coming up.
You know, could be CES or something like there's snippets of the best sort of snaps out there.
So this is similar to Twitter's Moments, where it tries to curate what your friends and family are following, or is it not taking that into consideration, just taking whatever's happening on the day?
Yeah. So you can imagine, like, I don't know, what's the next big event? I got the Oscars in mind for some reason. That's, I think, around January, so maybe. Yeah. You can imagine Twitter will have their own Oscars event. So all the tweets and photos and things that's being shared. Or you can go to Instagram for just sort of images, or I think mostly video these days on Instagram. Similar thing will happen on Facebook, and of course Snapchat always happens. So you're going to sort of try to work out which one's the best. I don't know.
Pick your favorite social network and just go for it.
All right, in entertainment news, JJ Abrams, our favorite director of Star Wars and Star Trek fame, he took some questions. So I saw the video for this on YouTube. It was via Vanity Fair.
Again,
yes. They're doing some cool things, aren't they? Yeah. So the idea was like they recorded some questions from celebrities and other directors and other actors. So they would ask questions on the iPad that he's holding, and he would have to answer those questions. Yeah. So I'm just going to play some of that because it's quite amusing.
Hi, I'm JJ Abrams, and I've been asked by Vanity Fair to answer a few questions. So here we go.
JJ, will you finally bring back Jar Jar Binks?
We are developing a Netflix series called Binks and I.
JJ, what does it feel like to be you?
Awesome.
JJ, what happened to Darth Vader's grandchildren?
Oh, George, this is great. You tell me, man. You made all this shit up.
JJ, did those people really die on that plane and lost? Thank you.
Can we put Damon's phone number right there?
All right, that's just a sample of some of the best ones. But did you know who that George was?
George Lucas.
He was. And his question was, what happened? Whatever happened to Darth Vader's grandchildren? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
In about 5 weeks.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and that Binks tonight. Binks.
That's got to be a joke.
That's at Netflix. Actually, the funny thing is the guy who asked is Ted Sarandos, who's one of the Netflix head honchos. So that was funny. Yeah, you had other people like Lena Dunham and Kara Swisher who asked that last question, and there's so many questions about Lost.
Yeah, so I think you're going to be getting a lot of these things all the way up to the actual launch of Star Wars 7. There'll be a lot of these little promo things, a lot of these little attempts at viral videos. So hey, keep it up. It'll keep it interesting. I think there'll be leaks along the way, just little Easter eggs maybe. So we'll see.
Maybe.
In other entertainment news, Star Trek is coming back. So this is kind of hard for me because I was never a Trekkie. I know a lot of Trekkies. So CBS has announced plans to resurrect the TV franchise just in time for the series' 50th anniversary to air on CBS All Access in 2017. So it'll be the first new series to franchise to air since it ended its run in 2005. The new series will be produced by Star Trek film producer Alex Kurtzman, and they're currently searching for a writer. According to CBS, the new show will introduce new characters, seeking imaginative new worlds and new civilizations. And while, looking at all the themes that, made the show such a big hit. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think? Are you a Trekkie? Did you enjoy the Enterprise?
I'm a fan. I wouldn't say I'm a Trekkie. I wouldn't go that far. I'm not that obsessed, I suppose. I'm just trying to work out, is this to do with the original series, so original characters, or will they do like a, Enterprise style, 30 years before the original series sort of thing?
I think it's hard to tell until that writer comes on board. I think Alex will probably have a few ideas, but he's probably going to need a writer to really flush this out.
I wonder if they're going to go down the Marvel angle of like, having the universe, the movie universe, as well as, the TV, but it's the same universe sort of thing. That could be interesting. I mean, like, I suppose all the TV shows like Enterprise and what are the other ones? Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, they're all sort of like kind of canon Star Trek, right? So
yeah, so the other movies that Alex is working on is Star Trek 4, The Mummy, Now You See Me 2.
The Mummy?
Yep, they're bringing it back. Now You See Me 2.
Oh, yeah?
Van Helsing again. Another movie called Exit Strategy. He's done Spider-Man 2, Transformers from 2007, the original one, Star Trek 1, Star Trek Into the Darkness. So they've got a great producer. It really comes down to, what else completes that story. So watch out for 2017.
All right. And one last piece of news, just a very quick one. Marvel's Moon Knight is another one being rumored to be a Netflix standalone show. There's been, I don't know if it's officially been announced, but Iron Fist sounds like that's going to be on, he's going to be in the Avengers. So they're pulling him out of the TV land. And to replace him, now they're thinking Moon Knight. Now, are you familiar with Moon Knight at all?
I know more about Iron Fist than I do about Moon Knight. Iron Fist is quite interesting. He will play a very large part in Civil War. So I believe he's Team Captain America.
Okay.
He is an Asian superhero. But he's very zen-like, so he rarely ever gets thrown off. So he adds a certain type of calm and collectiveness to that team.
Yeah.
Moon Knight, I don't know a lot about, but he reminds me, he's got that Daredevil feel to him. He's kind of dark character. I mean, that's all I know about Moon Knight, unfortunately.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see how he plays into that universe and why Moon Knight. I mean, it'll be really quite fascinating when you look into how they select these characters for TV and select these for the MCU universe on movies. And how do they decide, what goes to TV and what goes to movies?
So I hate to do this, but I only know of Moon Knight because of my game that I play.
So what do you know?
Contest of Champions.
What do you know about Moon Knight?
He's got a staff. He wears this sort of white hoodie kind of thing, and he seems fairly powerful. I don't know what his origin story is. It's from the moon. He's got that staff with like a crescent of a moon, and I don't know. Maybe he controls owls. I'm just guessing.
And another quality piece of research by the Lazy Couch Podcast.
Contest of Champions, that's the game, by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's it for this week.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. That's been a pretty crazy episode. There's a lot to get through.
Lots to get through. I think we were crazy to try so much, even though it's Melbourne Cup and there was a lot happening today. Where can people find us?
All right, so we're on Twitter at The Lazy Couch. That's our handle. Also on email, thelazycouchpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Just search for The Lazy Couch Podcast. And our website, beautiful website is thelazycouch.com. And also, please rate us everywhere. We have 4 subscribers on YouTube now, so you guys rate us.
We'll get there.
Thumbs up. Throw us a thumbs up. On iTunes, rate us 5 stars, of course. I think this is the only podcast where you get all this sort of amazing information. And, we're doing video now. Like, I don't know, maybe you have to ask for money soon.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do. But let's just sort of recording sound. We can't even get that happening, right? Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Geoff out.
Kelv out.